Welcome to Life by Design for Chiropractors, episode 131.
Welcome to Life by Design, the podcast for chiropractors. Here's your host, Dr. Jamie Richards.
Welcome to Life by Design for Chiropractors. I'm your host, Dr. Jamie Richards. As you can see, I'm joined by nobody today on the podcast, and we've been rocking some more of these episodes where I'm just getting in front of the camera, the audio, and sharing things that are coming up with my clients, things that are coming up with doctors that we work with all over the world. And obviously, it's a challenging time. And so with that challenging time comes a lot of really difficult conversations. And something struck me this week in a call that I had with a very successful doctor within our elite program. She's opened now multiple practices, had tons of associates, has built a great brand. And yet, among all of her success, it was still difficult for her to see that, she'd created something incredible. Not only that, but that the next phase for her and the challenge for her in the growth process was not a sign necessarily of failure. Not that she probably believed it was failure, but that there was an amazing challenge on the horizon. And if she could figure out how to overcome this, it was a great opportunity. And I started to think back through all the different experiences that I've personally had, and times where things were very challenging, times where maybe even there was failure and we weren't able to progress and weren't able to move forward. Back to the drawing board, which happens a lot. And when you push through and you get to the other side of that, how things seem differently. And then when you stop and you're able to look back at those experiences, you think to yourself, why was I so stressed out? Why was I so, why was I so freaked out during that time? Everything worked out. Everything fell into place. And I was trying to understand the principle here, because I think the more you get back to principle, the better it's going to be, because obviously you can apply that principle to many different areas and you can repeat that process and have that type of success over and over and over again, especially when you're looking at scaling and growing. Now, this doesn't just apply to your practice. This applies to every area, whether it be relationships, it could be finances, even with your own health, your own fitness, your own diet. In each of these areas, if you look back, and you might be in one of these right now, as you start to come upon a challenge, it's likely that you are either approaching your current capacities or capabilities, and so it feels like you're not going to succeed, or it feels like it's going to be too difficult, which leads me to this thought that, not that I had this and I was the only person to have this, but I heard this on a podcast I was listening to, and it clicked. And it's something now that I've integrated with my kids, and we use it here in the center and among Life by Design. But think about how many times you say to yourself, wow, this is too hard. It's too hard. But here's what I want you to ask yourself. Every time you say this is too hard, ask yourself, is it too hard or is it hard? Think about the difference. Too hard means it's impossible. It means nobody can do it. Nobody's ever done it before. It's never going to be done. So is it too hard or is it hard? Some things are hard. A lot of things are hard. When you're scaling your business or growing yourself personally or improving your health, it is hard. And sharing with clients, it is hard. But it's not too hard. If it was too hard, it'd be impossible. Nobody would have ever accomplished that before. And yet, no matter what your circumstance, no matter what your challenge, there's somebody who's had your challenge or worse or more difficult who's overcome that and who's been able to break through. And so the difference here is that if you look at these situations, what you're dealing with, and if you break it down like this, it'll make it more simplified. You're dealing with this transition process. And as chiropractors, you think about when you're doing your analysis, what are the most difficult areas to correct? It's usually the transitional areas, whether it be atlas and occiput, or lower cervical upper thoracic, or TL junction, or sacral lumbar zone. It's difficult because there's a transition between one to the next. And so when it comes to practice, the transition is often between your capabilities, your capacities, whether it be work capacity, time capacity, financial capacity. And so you always butt up against this edge where the transition happens. And so you either butt up against the edge and you feel the resistance and the tension and you pull back. And you might have to do that multiple times. And your patients often have to do that. We have to do that in relationships. We have to do that in finances. We have to do that in all areas. And ultimately, if you can push to the end and work through it and get through the transitional phase, and you get to this, call it, where the grass is greener, but only for a period of time until you reach the next transitional phase and the next, and the next, and the next. And that's where you have to realize that you're never going to get there. Like your patients are never going to get there. You're never going to get there in practice or in your life. There is just the next point and the next point and the next point. And once you start to accept this and realize that practice is hard, the business is hard, that life is hard, but it's not too hard. It's all doable. It's all capable. It's simply about building the skills, the capacity, the work ethic, and rinsing and repeating that over and over and over again. So here's what I want you to take from today's episode. It's not a long one, but it's an important one. And that's that life isn't too hard. It's just hard. That practice isn't too hard. It's just hard. The growth isn't too hard. It's just hard. And you can do it. But when you feel the tension, continue to push through that by building your capacity, or finding people who can help you push through, or building a support system, or simply just putting your head down and getting to work. Waking up earlier, getting back to the drawing board, and repeating the process over and over and over again. If you do, you will win. And you will win consistently and repeatedly. But if you continue to give up, it will always feel like it's not possible to you. It'll always feel too hard. So take that for your thought process this week. I know it'll make a huge difference. It already has with me, and just looking at things and different situations from a new perspective and bringing new eyes to the situation is also bringing new hope and new excitement. And I'm excited to get to these tension points. I'm excited to get to where there could be a transition, because that's where the real growth happens. Apply this to your practice. Apply this to your life. And as always, thank you for joining Life by Design for Chiropractors, the voice of reason in chiropractic.